Hey there guys, it's Frozen Joe here in my backyard. Here to do another episode of the 2016 Backyard Fruit Tree Project. Today I'm here to talk about one of my oldest trees. Actually, this is my oldest tree that I have. This is Violette de Bordeaux. When I moved down to Arizona, when I was first down here, a very generous fig grower who was already down here, a guy who's been down here growing for a long time, growing all different types of fruit trees and vegetable plants and whatnot. And I met up with him. I actually met him through one of the internet gardening forums, and he had several trees ready grown, fig trees. Anyway, he gave me a Violette de Bordeaux tree that was already a few years old, and he dug it up for me, and it's the oldest tree I have. And this is it right here, guys. Violette de Bordeaux. Violette de Bordeaux. Now, I really like this tree. I'm sure the first thing everyone's going to notice is, oh, look at all that grass growing up there. And this, okay, all right, I know there's grass there, but it doesn't bother me too much, so I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it really affects the tree that much. But look at Violette de Bordeaux. Look at how productive it is. Its main crop has been coming in now for a week or two, probably about 2 weeks, and you can see it's just a very, very, very productive tree, especially also because of its growth habit, where it has more of an exposed growth habit. That's why the grass is able to infiltrate it and do so well under it, because it just has a very open, exposed kind of growth habit to it. It's almost as though the tree doesn't put as much energy into its leafy growth as it should, and I think the reason why is because it's just putting so much energy into the fruit production. I mean, you can see it's just loaded. I don't know if you can see as well as you can see in person here, but I mean, it's just every branch tip just has a big cluster of figs on it. I mean, every tip is just a big cluster of figs. So I've been eating this for a couple of weeks now, and I want to talk about it a little bit. This being my oldest tree, and one that I know a lot of people really, really like this variety. I like it too. Cut open one of these to start with. I'll cut open a couple. Gotta sharpen this knife again. So you can see it's a medium-sized fig, you know, medium to small. I mean, I would call it medium. I'd say it's pretty solidly medium. You get a variety in terms of, you know, the size. Some are smaller, some are bigger. A couple of weeks ago, when this was first ripening, we just had some rains. We had some rain a couple of weeks ago, and get away from my figs. And at the time, these were ripening nice and fat and plump and juicy, but since then it's been dry, and the figs have been coming out a little more dry. And that's something I noticed with Violette de Bordeaux. It does lend itself toward, you know, having dry fruit. I'll just come out and say, in my climate, in Arizona, in the heat, it does tend to have kind of dry fruit. You know, when our monsoon rains come through, you really notice the difference, because the fruit will plump up and be softer. And you know, maybe it's just a shortcoming on my part in terms of the irrigation. You know, maybe if I lived on a flood irrigated lot, or if I just, you know, irrigated the hell out of this tree, it wouldn't be as big of an issue. But I have it on a similar sort of irrigation as the rest of my trees. In fact, I always try to give this tree a little more water. Whenever I have the hose and I'm watering, I'll always try to just give this tree some more extra water, and it just doesn't really seem to matter. I mean, when it gets hot, it just, you know, kind of dries the tree out. You can just see it, you know, the leaves and everything and the fruit, it just gets dried out. But you can see the fruit. I really don't have a problem with souring on this fig. You know, there are these tiny little ants that sometimes will get in there, but as I've said in previous videos, they'll get into any fig they want, those little ants. There's really no stopping them. I've used that product. I think it's called Tanglefoot. There's like that paste, that sticky paste you can put on the branches to discourage the ants from climbing up, but I find it doesn't really work too well. Once you start getting multiple branches and you have other vegetation growing around the tree, it just doesn't work that well. But, you know, I'll just say they're a little bit dry. You know, the fruit's a little bit dry. But let me tell you how it tastes. This fig has a distinct flavor compared to other figs. It's really hard to describe with words exactly what it is. People use the word berry to describe it. I get it. I get why you would call that berry. You know, to me it's a little different. It has a really strong seed crunch. Very noticeable seed crunch to it. And it's sweet, has good sweetness, and good richness rather. And you know, it has a unique flavor that a lot of people describe as berry-like. I don't even mind that the fruit's a little bit dry. I mean, yeah, it's nicer, you know, after a rain when it's a little bit juicier, but even in this, I mean, it's not totally dry. You can see, like here, you know, it's more juicy on this part of the fig, and then toward the eye, it's a little bit dry. And then they're all kind of like that. Kind of more juicy on top, and then dried out more by the eye. I don't really even mind that much because it's still delicious. It's a good fig, guys. I really like it. It's Violette de Bordeaux, my oldest tree. Has that rich, unique flavor. Very productive. It just puts all its energy into fruiting, into producing a big crop. And you know, all these figs are going to ripen up, I think, within the next month. These will all ripen on this tree. And then some years, you know, especially if we get a lot of summer rains, I might get some more growth coming off of it this year and more figs later in the year. If we have a really dry, hot year, I might not. You know, it just kind of depends on the weather conditions. And that's how it is with this fig, guys. Very productive. My oldest tree. And it's a good tree, guys. It's Violette de Bordeaux. Thanks for watching.